Making a stop-motion animation can prove to be quite difficult at times, but one of the things that really helps out with the process is having the ability to play back the animation and toggle between frames to ensure that the animation is looking fluid and consistent across each frame. And I tend to play back my animations a lot when animating, which is why today I'm going to be challenging myself to make a Lego animation without ever looking at the previous frames. Let's go over the rules. I cannot look at the previous frames or play back the animation until I'm finished animating. I can't use onion skinning as that enables me to see the previous frame, and while I do have the ability to delete frames while animating as long as I don't look at them, I cannot go back and delete any frames after I'm finished animating. And at the end of all of this, I'll be sending my best animation over to my brother to review. And the only way I can beat this challenge is if he gives the animation a rating of 7 out of 10 or higher. The animating process will not be timed, so there's really no need for this Ladybug timer, which is now, yeah. Anyways, once I got all of my equipment set up, I realized that I could see the stop motion timeline on my computer, which shows all of the previous frames that's been taken. So to fix this, I built a cover plate to put over my computer so that way I would only see the live view from my camera. And with that taken care of, I was ready to start animating. I started out with a super simple animation of a guy raising his hands just to see how hard this challenge would actually be.
I have a good feeling about this. I think this is going to turn out pretty good. It's super simple.
Boy, was I wrong. Believe it or not, this animation came out to be the worst out of all the animations I made for this challenge, even though it was the simplest one.
Let's see what we have.
Yeah, it was bad. Now I already know some people are gonna say that this animation looks good, but if you look closely, there's so many like little choppy movements going on where he's like moving left to right and all that stuff, but that doesn't really matter because it was more so a warm-up animation. In this next animation, I decided to animate a cannon firing. Now before I started animating, I realized that the cannon was very loose and did not want to stay in the air.
Like this, oh goodness.
So to fix this, I put some putty in the back to hold the barrel up.
So in theory, this could look pretty cool. Okay, oh, bother.
Along with the cannon being a bit wobbly, I think the hardest part of the stop motion was trying to line up the blaster bolt with where the barrel of the cannon was in the previous frame, since I had already moved it up to make it recoil. I tried my best eyeballing where the blaster bolt should be, but I had no way of knowing whether or not it lined up.
You know, I think that's gonna turn out alright.
So as you can see, the animation really didn't turn out that bad. I mean, like the blaster bolt did not line up with the cannon at all, and like the ending sequence looked pretty rough, but other than that, I'm actually pretty happy with how this animation turned out. Moving on to the next animation. For this next animation, I wanted to see how hard animating flying objects would be, as it would require me to take an empty frame during the animation. So I chose to animate a guy throwing a ball and it bouncing on the ground.
Let me find a ball. There it is. That looks different.
This animation seemed pretty daunting at first, and I didn't have super high expectations for it. That was until I realized that I could overlay a path over the animation for the ball to follow, so that even though I couldn't look back and check if the animation looked good, I could rely on the fact that the ball was following a smooth arc throughout the animation. Now I did have a few difficulties with remembering whether or not I had already moved the guy or the ball in a few frames.
Or maybe, did I take the frame of the ball on the ground already?
But after getting in the habit of moving the guy first and then the ball, I wrapped up the animation and was ready to review it.
Let's see how it turned out. In my head, it looks really good. I don't want to play it all the way through just yet. Just scrub through some stuff. That looks like it should look pretty good. Okay, that was a little forward going, but no, wait, this is actually, let me play this. Dude, this actually looks really good. What? No way, even the ball at the end looks good.
And after masking out the rig, this is the final product. Yeah, I was astonished by how well this animation turned out. I mean, I didn't even skip a single frame of the ball or the guy moving, which I thought I had done a couple times. It looks as if it wasn't even a part of this challenge and was just another animation that I made, and that was definitely because I used the guides. If I hadn't have used the guides, this is probably what the animation would have looked like. Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate. Unless I somehow make a better animation, I'll more than likely be sending this one over to my brother to determine whether or not I beat the challenge. But before I do that, I still want to make some more animations just to see how well I can do. So this animation was me trying to do something that was already difficult in a normal animation setting, which is having this guy draw two swords from behind his back. This required some out-of-socket arm movement and a whole lot of putty just to keep the arms in one place. And about halfway through, I knew that this wasn't going to look good, but I continued animating anyways, just to see how it would turn out.
Yeah, this is just for laughs and giggles at this point. Let's see what we got here.
I mean, honestly, it really didn't turn out to be that bad. It's really clunky. I think him grabbing the swords really, I think it looked pretty good. But yeah, I mean, the more I watch this animation, the more I kind of think it looks alright, you know? It's clunky, but it's not bad.
It's a goofy animation. That's that. Alright, let's move on to another animation. Let's see if we can make a little bit of a better one here. So, let's see.
And for the last animation, I wanted to see how well I could animate a walk cycle. So after doing a pretty cool lighting setup with a lamp in the back imitating the sun, I started animating.
Oh, let's not be lazy here. Let's add some props.
Now, if there's one thing I know about animating a walk cycle, it's that you should always keep the head moving forward every frame. So while animating, I would move my mouse cursor over the minifigure's eye after I took a frame. So that way I can make sure that his head moved forward in the next frame.
Oh, goodness.
After I animated the walk cycle, I made the mistake of not paying that close of attention when animating the figure leaning back and then forward again to show that he had stopped walking.
Okay, here's my prediction. The walk cycle actually looks pretty decent, but the ending of him just winding down looks very choppy and jittery. That's my prediction.
As you can see, my prediction was spot on. The walk cycle actually turned out really good, and if it wasn't for this horrible ending of him doing whatever this is, I would have contemplated submitting this animation for judging instead. It really stinks that I can't go back and delete any frames, because this is what it would have looked like with those nasty last frames taken out. Anyways, even though this animation is really close to being my favorite, I think we can all agree that out of all the animations I did, this one takes the cake. And now it's time to send the video over to my brother. Now before I send it over to him, I should probably tell you a bit about my brother. So as you may recall, in order for me to beat this challenge, my animation has to get a rating of 7 out of 10 or higher. Now, looking at this animation, it might seem like there's no way I'm gonna lose at this challenge, but my brother is pretty particular about animations and is almost as critical about them as I am. And on top of that, while he knows that I'm making a challenge video, he has no idea that this animation has anything to do with it. So he'll be rating it from the viewpoint that this is just another one of my animations that I made. While we wait for him to give the final rating of the stop motion, I'd like to give a huge shout out to his channel, Off the Wall Animations, as he makes some pretty cool Star Wars stop motions on there. I'm not quite sure when he's gonna post again, but you might as well subscribe for whenever he does. Oh yeah! I'm actually really surprised I managed to beat this challenge. When I was writing the rules for this video out, I wasn't sure at all if I would actually be able to make a decent animation, but with the help of some overlaid guides and the fact that I filmed the animation straight on, having the ball move from left to right, I managed to actually beat the challenge. I think my main takeaway from this challenge is that while in most cases it is absolutely necessary to constantly check and play back the animation while animating to ensure it looks its best, in some cases where the animation is pretty repetitive, like the walking animation that I did, not checking back on the frames can actually save quite a bit of time. Like, I would have spent 15 or so minutes longer on that walk cycle had I been constantly double checking the animation, and overall, it wouldn't look but maybe a little bit better,
Well, that is except for this. This video was super fun and, well, challenging to make, and honestly, I can't wait until I start on the next challenge video. I already have some pretty good ideas for the next one, but if you have any fun and creative ideas that you think would make for a cool video, then let me know in the comments and I might actually do it. And if you feel brave enough to try out this challenge for yourself, then I would highly recommend it as a fun little exercise. God bless you and have an awesome rest of your day.